to Golden Blooded, everybody. And if you are a college football fan, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. That is all we do here every single day. And send gear to represent your team and yourself to Golden Blooded. I guarantee you, if you send it to me, I will put it in my background. Send your gear to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. Let's get one thing clear right off the bat. The West Virginia fan base is not happy right now. We're not happy with the results on the field, and we're not happy with the body language and the effort that we're seeing on the field. Look, West Virginia is 2-3 right now. It would be one thing if we were losing these games just because the other team was better. Now, we're being competitive, they're just better. But that's not how we're losing. We're losing because of our own mistakes, not being able to catch the ball, being out of position, blown coverages on defense. That falls on the coaches. All these mistakes and these stupid penalties, these muff punts, whatever you want to call it, pick sixes, not on JT Daniels. All these mistakes are on the coaches. So some big changes need to be had in Morgantown. Starting at the top, yes, Neal Brown, maybe Shayne Lyons. If Shayne Lyons is not willing to fire Neal Brown after the lack of success that he's had at West Virginia, then maybe we should fire Shayne Lyons as well. I talked yesterday about that stupid contract extension that he gave Neal Brown, and it was stupid. He extended him after year 2, going 6-4 in the COVID year. And on top of that, he gave him a buyout of $20 million. It comes down to $16.5 million after this year. That was a stupid contract extension. But it could be a blessing in disguise, because with that stupid contract extension, maybe that attracts some bigger name coaches that wouldn't even consider West Virginia. They extended Neal Brown after 2 years, going 6-4 in the COVID, and they gave him a big buyout. Maybe I should look into West Virginia if that's the deciding factor. Let's say the pay is similar or a little bit lower than what Wisconsin's offering, or Arizona State, or whoever, and the deciding factor is, oh, I could get a raise within 2 years as long as I get this team to a bowl and get a great buyout. So win-win. I get rich no matter what. So it could be a blessing in disguise. Make no mistake about it, it was still a stupid decision by Shayne Lyons. Absolutely not warranted, but maybe, just maybe, a blessing in disguise. But it is most definitely time to move on from Neal Brown. But more than that, there's other stuff that needs to be fixed at Morgantown. Stuff that maybe you didn't think of. The first thing, I've been talking about this since I started my YouTube channel. I think West Virginia needs to expand their football stadium to at least 70,000. Oh, going to Blue Dude, I don't know about that. We won't be able to fill 70,000. Well, if we get the right coach and have success, yes, we will. West Virginia has excellent attendance. Whenever we're good, we fill Milan Puskar Stadium on a regular basis, to be honest with you. I think most definitely we would be able to consistently fill a 70,000 seat stadium as long as we're successful. I mean, look at the early 90s. The biggest crowd ever at Mountaineer Field was against Miami in '93, undefeated season. Over 70,000 people showed up. Why? Because we were successful. And yes, a big name was coming to town. So if we're successful, we would fill that 70,000 seat stadium. Guess what? If you expand and make the stadium bigger, make it look more appealing to recruits, it helps you with recruiting as well. You could do it several ways. You could either bring that lower deck over top of the weight room all the way down. That's wasted space anyways. Oh, but Golden Blue, that's a great recruiting tool. You can see the field from the weight room. Okay, well, it's really not helping us that much, is it? And besides, you could create a tunnel leading from the weight room to the field so you could still see it. That's wasted space. Bring those stands all the way down and fill out that area. You would bring in more noise and you would trap more noise. And on top of that, the upper end zone, the upper deck, excuse me, you could either fully enclose it, make a full bowl at the bottom, and maybe a horseshoe at the top, or you could just extend the upper deck, kind of like Iowa State has done. There's a lot of ways to expand the stadium without going overboard. I'm not asking for a 100,000 seat stadium, not even 80,000. 70,000, that's doable for West Virginia. And you have to have faith. You have to put money into your investment in order for it to grow. Oh, let's wait and see first. Let's see if we can fill it consistently, and then we'll invest. That's not the way to do it. Invest first, and then you'll see the return. You'll see the recruits. You'll see the product on the field. You'll attract better coaches. Yes, it's time to expand Mountaineer Field to 70,000. And I know it sounds crazy in a year going 2-3. This is called an investment in faith. You can't stay as is. This is not the 1980s or 1990s anymore. You have to keep up with the big dogs. West Virginia's kind of middle of the pack whenever it comes to size of stadium. At least get in the upper part of the middle of the pack. 70,000, that's still not a huge stadium, but it's much better. Now, on top of that, this might seem like a small little detail, but trust me, it's bigger than you think. Our entrance is pathetic. It is straight up pathetic. Oh, but it's tradition going unbluted. The band plays, we play a video, shoots the musket, on comes the Mountaineers. Yeah, I get it, but that's the past. That's the problem with West Virginia. We are stuck in the past. This is not the 1980s or the 1990s anymore. You have to keep up. You know what attracts recruits? A great entrance. I went to the Backyard Brawl this year in the stadium that Pitt plays in, and even though it was an NFL stadium, the entrance was awesome because they played Thunderstruck by AC/DC, got the crowd pumped, did the lighting, all that stuff. It was great. It was great. Look, I'm not saying do away with the band. You can still do the pregame rituals where they form the state and march across the field. That's fine. Shooting the musket, that's fine. But add some flair to it. This is 2022, and there is absolutely no flair to our entrance. There is no intimidation. There is no buildup. It's just band plays, state of West Virginia, marches on, play a video, shoot the musket, on come the Mountaineers. Boring. It's boring. Oh, but that's how we've always done it. Yeah, I understand that, but it is 2022. Hey, by the way, here's an idea. In the comments section, leave ideas for soundtracks that should be or could be played for West Virginia's entrance. Pitt has Thunderstruck. Let's see, Virginia Tech has Enter Sandman. South Carolina has Sandstorm. There's a lot of great entrances and a lot of soundtracks out there that could be applied to our entrance. I mean, Clemson makes a whole production about it. They do cameras from the helicopter or plane, Goodyear blimp, whatever you want to call it. You watch the NC State game where the buses pull around, the crowd is anticipating the Clemson Tigers pulling up in the buses, then they get off the buses, line up behind the gates like they're caged animals, they're ready to get out, and then they line up behind the hill, behind Howard's Rock. You know, the crowd is, you know, it's anticipation, layer after layer after layer, and finally they fire the cannon and down come the Tigers. It is the most electrifying 25 seconds in all of college football. Clemson's entrance. West Virginia's might be the most boring 25 seconds in all of college football. It's time to up our game in a lot of things. Little things pile up. Take care of one thing, then move on to the next. I don't care if it's the coach thing. Well, the coaching thing probably needs to be fixed first. But then after that, either work on the stadium or the entrance, and then once that's done and over with, then you can move on to the last thing. But it's time to catch up with everybody else, guys, because if you don't keep up, guess what? You're actually falling behind. Think about this. Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Arizona, Colorado, and Wisconsin, they all have decided enough is enough. We want to fire this head coach. He's not getting the job done. It's time to move on. Why is West Virginia not having that mentality? We're okay with losing. So what we're basically saying is that Nebraska, Wisconsin, Arizona State, Colorado, and freaking Georgia Tech are better programs than us because they're willing to get rid of the coaches that are not succeeding there and try to find a new head coach. But West Virginia's okay with not being successful. Think about that, guys. All right, let's move on to the actual coaching candidates. I'm going to go from number 10 to number 1. I'm going to start with number 11. And number 11 is actually not Jimbo Fisher. That's right. I am so emphatic about that I actually numbered it on my list. Number 11 right there, not Jimbo Fisher. Look, he's a great recruiter over there at Texas A&M. Great, but a terrible head coach. And I know they had a one-loss season back in COVID. Who cares? After that, it's basically 8-4 time. And at West Virginia, trust me, he's not going to be able to get those type of recruits. So we'll probably be stuck in 6-6 land just like we are now. No improvement whatsoever. I'm sorry, people. No to Jimbo Fisher. Let's get on with the actual list. Number 10, Gus Malzahn from UCF. Overall, 89-43. That's 67.4%. 68-35 at Auburn. That's 66%. Never had a losing season at Auburn and got them to the national championship. But he started to flounder a little bit there towards the end. But still, not a bad head coach. 12-5 at UCF. That's 70.6%. The dude is a winner. I think he'd be great at West Virginia. Number 9 is going to be Bill O'Brien. 15-9 overall at Penn State. That's 62.5%. I know he has some drinking issues, but it seems like he has gotten his life together. Maybe this would be the opportunity that Bill O'Brien needs. He's a pretty good offensive coach too, and he has head coaching experience. I'm telling you, he's worth at least a consideration. Number 8, Gary Patterson. 181-79 overall because he's only been at TCU. That's 69.6%. Tremendous success. Led TCU into the Big 12. They were stuck in the Mountain West for so long, but they did so well that they attracted the eye of the Big 12. And Gary Patterson had a bad couple years there towards the end. But as we can see at Texas, he has a great defensive mind. Maybe if you keep Graham Harrell as the offensive coordinator and bring in Gary Patterson, that's a great 1-2 combo. Number 7, Shawn Clark, the Appalachian State head coach. 23-9 overall, that's 71.9%. Now, you are taking a risk on this guy because he's a group of 5 coach, but the players play for this guy. So I think he's worth a consideration. Number 6, Lance Leopold. He should actually be higher on this list. I don't know why I have him at number 6, but hey, at least he's on the list. Overall, 44 and 43, that's 50.6%. 17 in Kansas, 41.2%. Okay, that's why he's a little bit lower. We can't put him at number 1 based on one season at Kansas. Overall, he hasn't had all that much success, but he has immediately turned Kansas around. So yes, you have to try Lance Leopold. He looks like he is a program game changer. Number 5, Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina. 35 and 19, that's 64.8%. Look, nobody even knew that Coastal Carolina had a football coach before Jamie Chadwell. And yes, he's a group of 5 coach, but I think he's one of the rare few group of 5 coaches that are ready to make the jump. Number 4, Paul Chryst. He just got fired from Wisconsin. 86 and 45 overall, that's 65.6%. 67 and 26 at Wisconsin. That's a 72% winning percentage. And he has a master's degree from West Virginia. So he does have ties to West Virginia. This guy is a good head coach. And I get why Wisconsin fired him. He was kind of starting to be a little dull. They weren't progressing anymore. But I think a new start for him, fresh scenery, all that good stuff. I think Paul Chryst would be a great head coach candidate for West Virginia. Bring him in, keep Graham Harrell as the offensive coordinator, maybe bump up Graham Harrell's pay just a little bit so he doesn't leave, and I think that is a great 1-2 punch combo as well. It's not like Wisconsin fired him because he was just plain losing over there. 72% winning percentage. That's pretty stinking good. Number 3, Luke Fickell out of Cincinnati. 58 and 23 overall, that's 71.6%. 52 and 16 at Cincinnati, that's 76.5%. The number 1 candidate out of the group of 5. I don't know if West Virginia can get him because he probably has higher goals than West Virginia, but he's at least worth pursuing. You gotta try, guys. You gotta try. Number 2, might not like me for this one, but I'm gonna say it. Tom Herman. 54 and 22 overall, that's 71.1%. 32 and 18 in Texas, that's 64%. The only reason he got booted from Texas was he didn't get along with the boosters. But who does? Hardly anybody ever gets along with the Texas boosters. The dude wins. He can recruit. I think he'd be a great head coach at West Virginia. And it would be a little thumb in the face of Texas saying, hey, I'm having success at West Virginia. Bet you're sorry that you fired me now. But the number 1 candidate, this one shouldn't surprise you because a lot of people are talking about him. Hugh Freeze, 79 and 40 overall, that's 66.4%. 39 and 25 at Ole Miss, that's 60.9%. And 30 and 12 at Liberty, that's 71.4%. Yes, he had some past off-the-field issues, with recruiting violations and all that stuff, but it looks like he's been a good boy. He's gotten his act together. So I think Hugh Freeze would be a great candidate, the number 1 candidate that West Virginia should pursue as the next head coach at West Virginia University. But first things first, it's time to fire Neal Brown, and if Shayne Lyons won't do it, it's time to fire Shayne Lyons as well. Y'all let me know in the comments section, do you think it's too soon to fire Neal Brown? Am I way off on this? And what do you think about my list of potential candidates to replace Neal Brown as the new head coach at West Virginia? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.